They say you don't call on Google Hangouts. You don't breathe into the mic. You don't go respond to those work emails, and you don't mess around with Jim. I do, but I we can definitely like flesh that out into a full song.
At some point, yeah, but
Well,
there will have to be like one reference that we may change for people who have no idea.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, considering that the video store basically has a whole subsection or a sub show about the majority of the lyrics of that song.
That's a good point, especially Jim.
Yes.
Guys, welcome back to the Turntable. We're in for honestly, Brooklyn. I don't think I've been this excited about an episode for a while now.
Yeah, we were talking earlier how this is a really good panel of albums. Also, incredible panelists. I always feel like I want to be like Stefan when we're talking about like the show beforehand or the albums. Like this show has everything. It has steel guitars. It has Canadians. It has a repeat artist. It has Montreal.
It has the warping guitar that plays backwards and forwards at the exact same time. But yeah, I'm hyped. Let's start bringing people in.
I imagine we'll start with our chief creative officer.
That's exactly who I was
our supreme overlord.
Our supreme overlord, yes. That would be one. I was going to say someone else, but hey, Cody.
No, there's clearly no one else. I'm the only driving force to make the show we're currently on is a pitch for me. Your draft show was a pitch for me. So listen, like I'm proud of you guys. You're doing great. I don't know why you bring me on the show with people that I don't know, because I have a very interesting personality, I would say, that could rub some people the wrong way, and then they turn out to be Canadian, and then I have to be overly nice, and that just that doesn't compute. This is a lot of Canadians for me tonight, but I want on the record, I did not ask to be here tonight. I just want that on the. I do not request to be on Turntable. People come to me for some reason. Yeah, and that's the problem. So, and some person on this panel is on my shit list. So we'll get to that when we get to it.
All right. Well, let's bring on one of those possible candidates. It's Dylan Vanthine. You are muted.
He's muted. He doesn't.
Yeah, it's probably me. I'm probably the one that's on his shit list. Yeah, I will say it is fun that Cody is finally owning the nickname Overlord. This is not the first time someone has called him this, and every time me and Payson have called him that, he's gotten very angry. So I'm glad he's finally owning it. Yeah, I can't wait to hear what he thinks about my album, because Barr messaged me and said he's probably not going to like it. I'm like, oh. It'd be fun.
Well, you can only be called something for so long until you're like, you know what? Maybe it has merit.
As this scumbag would know. Let's bring on our final panelist. Brooklyn, why don't you introduce them? They're a good friend of yours.
Absolutely, yeah. So I bumped into this guy 14 years ago. Whenever I was in the open mic rotation, he was often there. I think particularly at Hunter's and maybe Baba's. But we just kind of went our separate ways. And then when I started my current job, this guy started playing every Monday. Through the summer, that we've unofficially nicknamed Maxwell Mondays. He is a recording country artist here. He just did a show here over the summer that was basically a tribute to Merle Haggard. He has three studio albums out, most particularly Ballad of Miles, which has some great singles like Better You, Back to Cape Breton. And then he's also working on a new album. He has a new single out, Blackout Curtain, which is incredible. We got a sneak peek of it over the summer. Ladies and gentlemen, Lawrence Maxwell.
Good day, folks. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me on. This has been one of the most fun assignments for homework that I've had in a long time. So this is a thrill already.
That's what we're aiming for. Real quick, because I forgot to do this
Far
with
too
Ray
nice.
last. I forgot to do this with Ray last time. All of Lawrence's like Spotify and all that stuff will be in the bio of this episode. So Thank you so much for
Let's
coming
go.
on. We're excited to have you.
Great.
So, I forgot to ask. We'll go around. Cody, what did you bring to the table today?
So I only bring bangers when I'm on here. My music taste is very, how would you say, limited. Basically, whatever Brooklyn and uh, Barr give me, or make me do a show. So I brought in the greatest hits from the Eagles, 1971 to 1975. Yeah, so I'm here to continue that. I was told at one point that we were going to do a country album, like a country
That was the
turntable.
plan.
That was the
Apparently, we
original
didn't
plan.
get it off the ground. So we need to get that back off the ground. But overall, I'm happy to be here with some non-country albums.
Dylan, what did you bring?
Yes, I only bring bangers, but my music taste is unlimited. So there's that. But yeah, I brought an album by one of my favorite artists and just one of my favorite people. Definitely give me a call if you're watching this. Janelle Monae, Archandroid. It's like the first in a trilogy with a couple other albums. I forget the official name of the trilogy. Probably should have prepared that. But it's my favorite
The
one.
Cindy Mayweather trilogy.
There you go. And yeah, it's one of my
course.
favorite albums and was a big moment for me in high school. So yeah, can't wait to talk about it.
Lawrence, what did you bring?
I brought one of the albums that really got me into songwriting in general. It's Sturgill Simpson's Metamodern Sounds in Country Music. And I first heard this song probably about 10 years ago, or this album about 10 years ago. And yeah, it really kind of opened up the door for me that, you know, that old style of country music is alive and well, and we can put a new spin on it. And I think Sturgill's kind of paved the way for a lot of the alt country that we hear today, and the Americana that it's kind of given way to. So I'm pretty excited to share it with anyone who hasn't heard it, and I know some of you have. So yeah, looking forward to get into chatting about it and see what you have to say.
I brought one of my favorite discoveries of this year. It was released last year, and that would be Algorithm by Lucky Daye. I'll get into it a little bit more later, but just so you know ahead of time, R&B, soul, a little bit of alternative. And Brooklyn, you're going to be starting us off, so tell us about your album.
Yeah, so if you've been watching the show a lot, I tend to go back and forth between Canadian and then non-Canadian. So last time I did Dot, which is like a disco-y sort of album that wasn't from Canada. So I did pretty well with that. And I was like, all right, cool. Let's try Canadian, see how this goes. So we're going with 1993's 5 Days in July from Blue Rodeo. So Blue Rodeo is a country folk band. Vocal duties are split up between Jim Cody and Greg Keeler. Lawrence, correct me on this, but I think it's Greg Keeler that has like the more like reedy sort of delivery. Hear it mostly in like Hasn't Hit Me Yet and like Cynthia.
Yeah.
But like Blue Rodeo here gets a ton of radio play. They're like, I'd almost describe them as like your mom and dad's favorite band. They still play shows. They just played here in Canada today at Summerside, a free concert. But I would say that this is probably their biggest album. That first half in particular, the first 3 songs on this are singles that still get radio play. The second one in particular, I feel like every cover artist in the area kind of has to have it in their set list, because if you're not playing it, it's probably going to get requested. But then you get stuff like Head Over Heels. That was another single that came off of this, and this is just kind of like it's like that folky sort of deal, with some like rockabilly-esque sort of things. Sarah McLachlan also appears on this album a couple of times, and uncredited too, which is weird considering how her career kind of went afterwards. And I feel like she kind of got more famous than Blue Rodeo. She appears in What Is This Love, and I believe in
Bye, Dylan.
Till I Gain Control Again.
He's tired of hearing.
Pretty much, yeah. but like these are sort of jammy songs. Like 5 Days in May in particular is this very drawn out song, where there's kind of these long sort of solos, and I like the harmonies in them and whatnot. Cynthia is sort of this kind of straightforward. It reminded me kind of like Allman Brothers. That more country than rock, I would say. Then you get What Is This Love, which is this really beautiful ballad, which is kind of in the middle. I like the drum arrangement on that. I don't think they ever hit the snare once on it, so it kind of gives this mystic approach. I do have one gripe with the album in particular. I think every song on this is beautiful, but I want to hear what everybody else thinks first, and then I'll get back to my gripe.
I'm assuming the gripe is the same. It's going to be brought up with another album as well. It's a little too long.
Yes, so kind of, but the gripe that I had is this album kind of comes to a grinding halt, like especially when you look at that, like the first three, like the first half basically. 5 Days in May hasn't hit me yet. Bad Timing, Cynthia, Photograph to an extent is kind of upbeat, and then What Is This Love is kind of the halfway point. And then other than that, it's like English Bay, Head Over Heels are kind of the only like upbeat ones, and then it really, like, especially when you go from like Dark Angel to Know Where You Go / Tell Me. Yeah.
See, I kind of agree. Because ending with what's basically like two ballads back to back can slow it down a little bit. However, the way that they actually end the album with almost like this gospel-y a cappella sort of piece, haunting. I loved that choice to end. The biggest note I have in my notes is, does this count as prog country? Because
kind of,
to me, it sort of is. Especially when you get to Where Is This Love? Which is
what is this love?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, What Is This Love? Because that reminded me a lot of Don't Give Up by Peter Gabriel and Kate Bush.
Yes.
So I know Cody's already rolling his eyes with the Peter Gabriel mention.
That's two when the 12 minutes.
That's two in the chamber. But if you remind me of either one of those, you're already on my side, and you remind me of both of those, you won me over. I really dug this album a lot. I loved both of their voices. I thought that they both were really good singers. I love the storytelling of some of these songs, like in 5 Days in May. That one in particular. The writing of Dark Angel I thought was really good too. But the thing that really, really got me hooked in the most was the instrumentation.
Yeah.
Like the actual music element of it, because it is so well produced. Like everything is balanced perfectly. Like you hear every single instrument like very clearly. So sonically, it is just like a fascinating album to listen to. As I said, some of the songs are kind of too long.
Yes.
Like,
absolutely.
Nip them just like a little bit, because most songs are like over 5 minutes long. You need a little breathing room.
Well, in particular, before we get to everybody else, that guitar solo in 5 Days in May, like when I hear people cover the song, I love it, and it's almost my favorite one. But when I go to this original, that guitar solo feels almost lost. Like he's kind of just making it up as they're recording, and it's like, all right, well, we can't do another take. We're just going to use this.
Yeah. What are everyone else's thoughts? Just jump in.
I felt like all the songs sounded the same.
Damn it. That's what I was going to say.
Like they all like blended together And just like you're saying all this stuff, and I respectfully just don't understand what any of you guys just said, and that's just my ignorance on music. Prog country, I don't ever know what that means, and I don't want to ever hear that expression. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. I
Progressive.
liked whatever. I liked portions of this, but holy hell, did we need minute intros for like most of these songs? Like it was so long to just get. You know who I am. I'm sorry. I bet there's like some great like chords and people were hearing stuff, and it sounded really cool to me. Can we go? Can we go? It seems like you haven't made up your mind if you wanted to start the song or not. So it drove me crazy on that. But I liked a lot of the songs once it got into the stuff that I got into. I just felt like the songs were a little long. I felt like all the songs kind of ran together. They sounded a lot the same. Like they would go together and it seemed like I'm listening to the same song, just different lyrics, or maybe just slowed down a slight bit here or there. Apparently Dylan felt the same way, so maybe I'm not crazy. Go ahead, Dylan.
Yeah, so a lot of it did feel a bit samey after a while for me. I think it's partly due to the length of the album, yes. But I will say I did enjoy it overall. I was a fan of it. The one song that was repeated over and over again was a very good song. No, I'm just kidding. It was very good. I remember it reminded me of a Mark Menchaca quote listening to this album, where I think he was describing the movie The Patriot, where he's like, it's like describing how a nuclear reactor works. Where he says, I don't know, I can't explain to you how it works or like what it is about it that makes it work. I just know that it works. I can't, this is a genre that I'm not super familiar with. So I was listening to it, trying to think like, okay, I'm listening to this for a podcast. I got to talk eloquently about this.
No, you don't.
No, you don't.
What do I have to say about this album that's eloquent or interesting? I think it's produced well. It's fun.
That's a cop out. That's such a cop out. That's such a cop out. Oh my god, it was produced well.
Yeah,
I mean, it is.
Yeah.
the mixing. Yeah. Oh, let me tell you about the mixing. This
wasn't recorded in the garage with his best friend Bob outside, like guarding, like stopping the neighbors from doing noise complaints. Yeah, I get that, but like, come on.
Lords.
Well, I think kind of going back to what Brooklyn said, like Blue Rodeo coming, where we're from in Canada, it is our parents' favorite bands. Like that is a true statement. It's kind of the generation before me that listened to this, but it was always around growing up. So I was quite familiar with a lot of these songs. I don't know if I'd ever listened to this album in full, but I was familiar with all the singles at least and some of the other cuts. But I think for me, there's a certain element to it where it borders on like the poetic accessibility, kind of like the Tragically Hip for me, where it's kind of like you're getting two different types of listeners. Like if you go to a concert with the Tragically Hip or Blue Rodeo, you're going to see like rockers and you're going to see people who are like highbrow academics that are there because they're accessible to many different people. And that might also be their downfall too. Sometimes is the accessibility and that's maybe touching on what you guys are saying. All these songs maybe sounding similar is maybe a choice in the studio and in the writing to make it accessible. I don't necessarily see it that way. I do kind of hear two separate conversations in this album, but they are surrounding the same themes of like the love and the heartbreak and the loneliness and very cliche themes, but I think there are a couple different conversations. And I think Greg Keeler and Jim Cuddy being the two vocalists kind of give different perspectives on that. And it really shows in that Dark Angel and What Is This Love? And then in the final track, you kind of get this sense like this almost feels like a slightly different album to me, but it's and then that Sarah McLachlan, like you said, I knew I recognized the voice. Yeah. So that was kind of cool to hear her. But yeah, I think overall, like the pedal steel was great when the Cynthia song came on. I was like, okay, this is taking a shift into country. And then, pedal steel, I just put that on everything for me. So yeah, I think overall it was nice to listen to this album in full and to kind of experience it as one piece, because I've never really gotten a chance to do that with this band, who I thought I knew quite well, but there's a lot more to learn. So
Yeah. Former panelist on the show, Adam McGregor. This is one of his favorite albums ever. Last time he was in a work, we were talking about it, and he likes the ballady stuff at the end.
See, like, that's where it starts to kind of blend together for me. Like, I still liked all of them, but I the more and more you talk about like the grinding halt, I guess that's where I can see that. Except for the actual like end of the album.
Yeah, and then and I don't know if that can be fixed with like arrangement, because I do feel that it is front loaded. Like maybe you put English Bay in between Hasn't Hit Me Yet and Bad Timing, and then maybe you kind of bring that one down, because Bad Timing I feel is kind of like in between the upbeat stuff and the ballad, especially with especially the verses, and then you like in Bad Time in particular, you get to that chorus, and the harmony comes in, and then just probably one of the more catchy choruses. Like, I've never been to a Blue Rodeo concert, but I got to imagine when you hear that song, we each forgive a little bit, and we both look back on it, and then I imagine them kind of taking the mic to the crowd, and then you just hear, it's just bad timing. That's all.
Mm. All right. Any last thoughts on this album before we move on? No. All right, cool. So we're going to get into rankings and favorite and least favorite song. Rule of thumb, ranking, you can literally do any decimal point. You can do like 7.463.
Oh.
Yeah. Cody,
what a cop out like reasoning behind things. Ugh.
You're not even doing the math for the score. I'm the one that has to crunch in all the
That's
numbers.
the worst part. Why are you doing that?
Because it's fun. Because there's actually
it's arbitrary.
Because you guys can be pretentious people, be like, it's an 8.9976. It's close to being a 9, but it's not quite there.
Cody, this is my way of getting around the letterboxed rule that I've been craving, like 0.25.
Yeah, you don't even go 0.25. You go crazy. Oh, don't worry. Guess what?
No. We'll do the thing that you really hate about letterbox reviews, Cody. Well, I'll give the score, and then I'll give the heart.
Oh.
That like, it's an 8 out of 10, and I like this album.
Oh.
Okay.
But I am going to give it a 7.5 out of 10.
Wow.
I think the singles on this are really good. Like I was saying earlier, I think this album can just maybe get arranged a little bit to kind of help with the overall pace. My favorite is this is going to sound basic to locals that are listening to this. Hasn't Hit Me Yet is my favorite. I love the arrangement. I love the intro. I love the electric organ solo in this as well, and particularly how they end the verses and then go to the chorus, because they're just doing some musicy things kind of different, and it kind of raises the eyebrow, if you will. My least favorite is I'm torn between two. I guess I'm gonna go Dark Angel. It was almost Cynthia, but I can appreciate Cynthia for kind of just like a fun country time. But yeah, Dark Angel is where I start to notice the length of the album.
All right, we're gonna go Cody next.
I'm shocked that me and Brooklyn have the same least favorite song. Dark Angel was also mine. I really liked Photograph. If I had to say like my favorite one, I think I really enjoyed Photograph the most. And man, since I can give any rating I want possible, I think I'm going to go to a 6.8794. It's really close to rounding up. I just couldn't get quite there. But I think it's a solid one. I'm not familiar at all with country music in Canada overall. So like you guys are saying, like this is your favorite, this is your dad and mom's like favorite like band. Like that's interesting to me. Like I don't know how music like travels and stuff. So like that's just
that's
you
part of
High
the reason.
Valley.
Yeah, well, that's part of the reason why I brought it on. One, because Lawrence was coming on, and I wanted something kind of familiar for him. But also, I knew how much you liked country, and I was like, well, this is a Canadian country that like we're very familiar with that I don't think gets a lot of American exposure.
Speaking of which, we're gonna move on to Lawrence. What is your score, your favorite and least favorite song?
So I gave this an 8.7, and I think I leaned a lot into the nostalgia factor with my pick, and especially for my favorite song. My favorite was Head Over Heels, and that was kind of that single on that second half that Brooklyn had mentioned, and I think that's the first song by Blue Rodeo that I remember hearing. It's just everything. It's the piano, organ, mandolin, harmonica. There's like these really high piano keys that are happening just before that final chorus that is so cool. I never would think to add something like that into a mix and have it sound good. And to me, it just sonically and melodically, it's just so catchy. I couldn't pick it apart. So Head Over Heels for my favorite. And my least favorite was English Bay.
Wow.
My reasoning for that was, I think the storytelling that I appreciate in some of the songs from Blue Rodeo, it's not really achieved in this song for me. It doesn't really take me to the scene as much as like 5 Days in May or Till I Gain Control Again. Like those songs, I feel like I'm transported more into the scene when I listen to those stories. But it does have my favorite line probably in the whole album in that song, where it says, "The whole world seems very strange in a pleasant kind of way." I just love that line, but unfortunately wasn't enough to like the whole song.
Okay. So Dylan.
So yeah, my favorite song I was also probably be Hasn't Hit Me Yet, which I feel bad picking the song with like the star beside it on Apple Music. But that would probably be my favorite one. But because Brooklyn already said it, I'll also throw Bad Timing in there because I think that one is really good too, and I especially love like the piano towards the bridge. I thought that part of the song was like really really cool. And yeah, my least favorite would also actually probably be English Bay. It just kind of overall left like the least impression on me. And I was like that was at the point of the album where it like really the album I feel like really started to drag a bit for me. But overall, I still like the album overall. I give it like a 7 out of 10. I'll keep it simple.
7.
Yeah.
I'm giving it an 8.5. I really enjoyed the music in it. As I said, ran a little long, but otherwise I thought it was really enjoyable. My favorite song is 5 Days in May. It's the title track. The songwriting
not quite. It's 5 Days in July. But
I'm sorry, 5 Days in July.
That was like a rant. I was going to yell at the clouds. Like, why is this album called 5 Days in July? But the first track is called 5 Days in May. Make up your mind.
Yeah, weird. That threw me off so much.
Hold on, Barr. You created a rule where you can give any number you want, and you still stick to an 8.5.
For that,
you're
for
the
this
most
album,
irritating human I've ever met in my life.
For this album, we're gonna get to other ones. My least favorite is Till I Gain Control Again. That was like the one that kind of just slipped into the background for me, where I was kind of like, all right, let's get this one over with. So yeah. So Brooklyn, what does that bring the average total to?
So that brings the average score of 7.71588. It
Perfect.
is just above the Forever Story by JID, but just behind Hall of Fame album Sports by Huey Lewis and the News.
Hey, interesting. I'm still shocked at how low the Forever Story is.
True.
I definitely helped that. I did not love it.
What's number one on that chart?
For this season, Rumors.
Crazy. All right, Cody, move me into the spot where Brooklyn is right now, because we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about my album next, Algorithm by Lucky Daye. As I said, this is one of my 2 favorite discoveries from this year, even though this album was released last year, technically. I came upon this album because I heard Hurricane. And I was like, oh, I really enjoy this. And then I realized that he had written other songs for people like Miguel. And I really like Miguel. So I was like, all right, I'm going to give this album a listen. I had never really heard of him before. And boy, am I happy that I did. Because this album, I think, is absolutely fantastic. Now, it is a little long. That's my biggest problem with the album. You could have cut a lot of the interlude stuff. But man, some of the songs on here are just absolute bangers. You've got just that absolutely groovy line from the bass and the drums on Hurricane. You've got Teddy Swims coming in and just absolutely blowing the doors off of this with his verse on Blame. You've got a couple of like rock elements in things like Mary. And you've got these really soft pieces like Paralyzed with Ray, where it kind of reminded me of Best Part with Daniel Caesar and her. And then you have like these epic, like almost semi-psychedelic like beautiful pieces like Diamonds and Teal at the end. And Top, holy crap. I don't think I've heard a song since the TLC album that we covered that had a song that was sexier than Top. That song, bedroom classic. I don't care, Cody.
This is not the show I signed up for, right?
Foul on the play. But yeah. But the instrumentation on this album is just absolutely incredible. R&B to me almost always sounds better with live instrumentation. The drums, the bass, the guitar, they just all sound incredible on this. And Lucky Daye is just a hell of a performer and a vocalist. Like, he is bearing his soul in his performance on this. I personally love this album. I've been wanting to introduce it on this show for a while, so I want to hear what everyone else thinks about this.
I'll go first. Yeah, so I feel bad because I feel like I've been on 3 episodes previously, and I think I've picked Andrew on all 3 previous episodes for which album pick was my favorite. This is my shit right here. I love this.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun with it from the very first song. Like when the drums came in, I'm like, because I love R&B. It's one of my favorite genres, but like specifically, like I was worried going into this that it would lean too much on trap production, which I like trap production on hip hop. With R&B, it's kind of like a weird disconnect for me where it doesn't always work for me. So when I heard this and I heard like the booming, like just drums, like actual drums, when they came in at first, I was like, oh, I'm going to love this album. The bass lines on this album are sick. Yeah, like I think my favorite song was probably like there's that stretch all the way from Blame actually to Break in the Bank where I was like it was just like hitting like on another level. When the beat came in on Break in the Bank, I was like, this is so fucking good. And yeah, like you said, Teddy Swims' performance on Blame when he came in, I was like, oh my god, who is this guy? Because I hadn't heard of him going into this album, but I thought he was great.
You hadn't heard of Teddy Swims before this?
I heard the name, but I don't think I've actually listened to his music.
What's the big song called? Lose Control?
Oh my god, that song is like overplayed for like 2 years in America.
Yeah, but it would be his 100%.
Yeah,
okay.
That would probably be his number one. Also, his like cover of Shania Twain, "You're Still the One," and him and his he does crazy.
His cover of
okay, well, sorry, Teddy.
No, you should like overall. I only know like 2 songs from him, so I mean,
I want to check him out after this because I thought
you should.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'll go next. I loved the hell out of this album. Really, really dug it. I like the influences that Lucky Daye had. This immediately reminded me of Silk Sonic. and that sound that it's going for. Breaking the Bank reminded me of like kind of like the NSYNC era, kind of the 90s Michael Jackson as well. But then you get to like Paralyzed, and that reminded me a lot of Frank Ocean in kind of the more softer tones. Blame, I knew the length of the album before I started listening, but it was a surprise to me that Teddy Swims was on it, and I was like, man, this song is like sultry. I love the groove and the melody in it overall. I like, even from Never Leaving You Lonely to Pin, I think is a great 4-song run. In particular, like the opening guitar lick in Never Leaving You Lonely mixed with like there's some like scratching from like a turntable, which like you don't really hear outside of like early Linkin Park. I can't think of any other acts that really kind of mesh those two sounds. But then that
so
lick,
you're forgetting Limp Bizkit.
Good. I'm good that I'm forgetting Limp Bizkit, or new metal in particular. But yeah, that lick they kind of play with
17. Don't be disrespectful.
Disrespect.
But yeah, they kind of play with the rhythm on that. The drum kind of comes in at different times throughout the song, and I really dig that. But yeah, I get what you're saying though with the psychedelic elements of Diamonds and Teal. This is the ending that I wish Blue Rodeo had, because it's much more subtle. And if you're gonna go like, especially like Lemonade, it's this kind of like, like, to be cliche, like when life gives you lemons, or like when things are kind of like are broken up, like go make lemonade, and kind of make the most of it. But yeah, Diamonds and Teal I thought was just a nice soft little ending to the album. But yeah, I really dug this.
Lawrence, Cody.
Yeah, I guess I can jump in on that. This for me was a new artist that I'd not heard of before, and I won't say it's not a genre that I don't listen to. Like I definitely listen to a lot of these genres with R&B, and sometimes like the fusion with rock and pop that I heard in this. But the names that were mentioned, Daniel Caesar, Frank Ocean, these were names that I'd written down in my notes as well. Hurricane, when I heard that song, it kind of like gave me the MGMT and also like a Toto Africa feel. And I was kind of like, I'm always kind of looking for those little similarities or those influences to get me into an album for the first time, especially. So that's kind of what I was hearing. It felt like each song was almost a mini album in and of itself, where it had many different parts to it, sometimes really long outros, which I didn't always love. I thought the transitions were pretty cool, like a lot of the iPhone noises and stuff that were like pinging, and like the Siri and the maps and stuff like that. It was kind of cool, with an album named Algorithm, to throw in all that stuff into the mix was kind of fun. I really liked the way that it started as well. Like you guys said, with the drums, I love the guitar in that song. The only thing that initially I found hard to get into was the distortion on the vocals, and like really trying to make out the vocals on the first song, because I felt like that was taken away as the album went on, where the vocals got a bit more clear and I could actually start to understand more of the lyrics. But that's a choice, and I'm here for it. I found it very hard to pick a least favorite song. Everything was very consistent. But I guess we'll get into that later. But yeah, overall, it was a really danceable album, and I can get behind that for sure.
Yeah, so I enjoyed it for the most part. It's not something I will ever like run to almost. There were a lot of songs that I really like enjoyed. I would not couldn't tell you one inspiration any of these songs were from anybody, because that just doesn't resonate in my brain when I'm listening to stuff. But Blame was really sweet with Teddy Swims. I think Teddy Swims' voice is like insane. I think like he gets some backlash, because I've seen him like on like social media sites, like him singing, and like how he can just like, most of his stuff's like effortless, and he can go for crazy runs and stuff, and it's kind of like a show off thing, but I think he does a really good job. I think Top will literally be one of those songs that I will never listen to again, especially after Barr said what he said. That thing. There's a few songs on it that I just didn't love. I kind of am with Lawrence with like the outros and stuff, like the songs like ending and stuff. I just felt like it's like watching a movie. I know, sorry, movie reference, but like when you think it's over and the movie you thought ended like 3 different times and it's still running. That's some of these songs where I'm like, I thought we did this. Why are we still here? But that will always be a nitpick. But I think the album started really strong. I think it dipped a little bit, and then it kind of where Dylan said, picked up really strong after that. So I was really surprised by this album.
Cody, what have we established from the get-go? It goes movies,
yep.
TV, then music.
Music's on the ground, right under sports and video games.
Music is on the ground.
Yeah.
Sorry, I meant TV.
Yeah.
Oh my God. All right. So with that, let's get into scores, favorite and least favorite. This is a 9.4 for me.
What would have made it a 9.5? I'm just curious.
A few less of the like little interlude.
Okay,
thing.
that makes sense.
With that, I'm actually going to start with my least favorite. My least favorite one is Think Different, because the little interlude at the end of that one kind of sullied it for me a bit. But also, it's just the one that I had like the hardest time getting into. But my favorite one, this song and another song that I'll bring up for another album are like neck and neck for me as to which one was the best song out of everything. And Diamonds and Teal is just an absolute stunner for me. Just like from his voice, like the ranges that he's going through, the absolutely stunning production and the instrumentation. It ascends like everything else to me. I wanted to pick Lemonade or Hurricane, but like that one hits an emotional spot for me. Let's go to Brooklyn next.
All right, I'm almost in lockstep with a couple of you. I gave this a 9.3. And the reason that I gave this a 9.3 is that there are some songs that I don't hate, but I think that are just fine, and I don't know if they're worthy of getting trimmed off. Because spoiler alert, of all the albums, I think only one is under 45 minutes, and I think a lot of them are over an hour, which we have been doing really well up until the show.
Yeah, this is the longest by far we've done.
My favorite is Soft. I love the arrangement in it. I like the pre-chorusy part as well. Like that kind of that 2-beat part. It's just my favorite arranged song, I guess. I am with Cody though as well. My least favorite is Top. I think it is just a little too on the nose compared to the rest of the album. But
crazy.
Yeah.
What you do in the bedroom is your own business, all right, sir? Keep it between you and the sheets.
We'll be writing from top to bottom. Dylan.
Oh.
I need adults.
Moving on. I mentioned it a few times. My favorite is probably Breaking the Bank. To me, that's like the funkiest and catchiest on the album. I love that song so much. It was really tough to pick a least favorite. I'd say maybe Paralyzed is probably the one that has the least replay value for me, but I still think it's good and it has its place on the album. It's just this is like a 9 out of 10. I'm keeping it simple with these ratings. You're welcome. This is a 9 out of 10 album for me, which means that there's not a lot that I disliked about it. So yeah, take that. Me picking it as the worst song with a grain of salt because it's still pretty good.
All right, we're gonna go to Lawrence.
Yeah, so for me, I guess this, like I said, it was hard to pick a least favorite song. But that being said, there weren't that many moments that really jumped out to me. I gave it a 7.8, and Cody's gonna love this. My favorite song was Top.
Yeah,
let's go.
And
I mean, you're not going into graphic details, so I appreciate you.
I don't need to. It speaks for itself. But I feel at first I did feel like I was intruding on something listening to it, but then I realized I was like, oh, maybe he's speaking to me, and then I felt like I started blushing, and that for me, that's where I felt the Frank Ocean vibe really strong was in that song.
Yeah.
The syncopation and the play with the syllables, even in the choruses and stuff, just yeah, that's what really impressed me with that song. And then my least favorite song I had Pin.
Okay.
It was hard to really pinpoint anything in particular about it, other than I just thought that any element I could pick out of that song, I felt like it was better achieved in other songs. And there's not much more that I can say other than just listening back to the album. If I was to forget a melody, it seemed like that was one I couldn't hang on to.
I can respect that. Cody, we're going to go to you.
I was probably at a 7.5, but I moved it down for every time Barr said something I didn't like. So it's at a 7.23. My least favorite is Diamonds and Teal. I did not like it. I felt like going to the end of the song and just like the last song. No, thank you. Best song, I think I really enjoyed Hurricane.
Yeah, it's
I
back.
thought that was a really good song. I actually doubled back on that one when it played the first time. Like normally I just go in order, but I was like, yeah, let's run that back. So I think that might be my favorite. But yeah.
All right. So Brooklyn, where does that bring us?
Just shy of the top 10. You are number 12 currently, just above Crimes of Passion by Pat Benatar, but not quite as good as Fetch the Bolt Cutters from Fiona Apple.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. So, Cody, we're going to go to you next. Tell us about you.
Yeah. Oh, a little indie band. Not a lot of people know of.
Never heard of them before this.
Known as the Eagles. Talk about your dad's favorite band. There you go.
See, this is what our dads listen to in America.
Yeah,
this is cheating, by the way. But go ahead.
Yes, I agree with Dylan.
Why is this cheating?
We've had a
This is a compilation.
Yeah,
we've had one before on this.
Last time I checked, I asked if greatest hits count. He said yes, so I said
had one
why
before.
not?
Okay,
and I also picked one that didn't have Hotel California, which I felt like would be the ultimate cheat. So I was letting it stand by itself. So on that note, yeah, it's the Eagles. It's the greatest hits from 1970. Find a bad song in this. I would love to have that discussion with you right now. No, but I absolutely I picked the shortest album. You're all welcome. By I think a good margin. I don't think I had anything in the hours. There's only 43 minutes, but it's already some fantastic songs. Like, I still think the Eagles have great songs after this, but
Metamodern is only 34 minutes.
Okay, then we're better than the rest of you. Interesting how that works. Well, looks like we know what we're doing here. No, but I absolutely love the Eagles. I can't tell you progressions or what goes through or what inspired what, but from the get-go of Take It Easy, then I love Desperado. I have always loved Desperado. I think it's one of the all-time like best songs out there for me. I will disgustingly scream sing that song like when I don't know how to sing at all, so it always helps with that. I just think their vocals and just they have some beautiful songwriting, I think, overall as a band. So it was a no-brainer when I was like, oh, you want me on? All right, I'm putting another stone in my Infinity Gauntlet. I'm loading up the Eagles, so let's talk about the Eagles, people.
I'm going to start, if you don't mind, Brooklyn, because
sure.
So some of these songs are some of the greatest songs ever made. Like, I don't know. What do you want to...
Thank you so much.
But there is something about this greatest hits compilation that I think is actually like really interesting. And because it's released in order of when these songs were released. And I kind of really noticed towards the end their growth as people. Because no, seriously. Well, no, because like the first half it kind of has this mentality of women, right, guys? But then as it goes on towards the end, it kind of like softens up on that and becomes more open and personal, with songs like "Peaceful Easy Feeling" and "The Best of My Love." So that was an aspect of this that I was really not expecting to discover. Yeah, and I'm not as big into Desperado as Cody is, but it has grown on me. It has absolutely grown on me. It's a fantastic song. I like when their heavier side comes out when it comes to like rock, as opposed to some of their like more soft rock side. But yeah, one of these nights, take it easy, take it to the limit. Yeah, bangers.
I'll go next. So Lawrence and maybe Dylan that doesn't know this, but the first time that the three of us, Cody and Andrew and I, were on a call together, we ranked the top 10 Eagles, our favorite Eagles songs. It was the first time Cody and I had met Andrew, and it blossomed into this incredible friendship that I love doing this show and other shows with you. But yeah, this is a greatest hits album. We had an album. We didn't have this album. We had the Greatest Hits Volume 2 in the car growing up. If Garth Brooks's The Dance didn't exist, I was going to pick Desperado as the song that like my mom and I danced to, because it's such a beautiful song. There's a nice mix here of like the kind of like of the staples, like your Take It Easy's, your Already Gone's. You're Take It to the Limits. And if you don't know the story about Take It to the Limits, the bassist at the time, Randy Meisner, left the band because he got tired of singing that song. So I don't know who took over, or if they even did it after that and whatnot. But like everything you love about the Eagles is in this album. The harmonies, the kind of mix and genre. I know when they had started the band, they were just as confused as we were as to like where they wanted to go, because I think they were kind of starting with that sort of like rockabilly sort of style. But then when you brought in people like James Walsh, like Timothy B. Schmidt, they kind of went into that more rock sort of disco-y sort of deal. Like One of These Nights. We've talked about Tequila Sunrise before, I think, on YLS Summer Anthems. I think that's the best like summer on a porch with your friends, like just kind of watching the sunset. It's just very, very quaint and pretty. Even like Witchy Woman, I kind of like the eeriness of it as well. Especially you get some really nice falsettos that they kind of became known for coming on the end. And then yeah, like Take It Easy, like that was originally like a Jackson Browne song. He didn't know how. I think he got to Standing on the Corner in Winslow, Arizona, and then Glenn Frey took it over from there and wrote it. And then The Best of My Love is this nice soft sort of. I'm not quite a ballad, but then like probably one of my favorite bridges on this album. But like Lawrence and I we were talking about it yesterday. It's like it's a greatest hits album, so it's kind of tough to score, I guess, where there isn't like really one theme. It's just kind of like, here's everything that we like. Hope you guys enjoy.
Yeah, to score it, I was just gonna like avoid giving it a rating and just give it 2 thumbs up. But no, yeah, I mean it's
no.
No, but it's I mean, yeah, it's the Eagles' greatest hits. It's great. There's so many great songs on here. One of These Nights, probably my favorite. Again, another one with a star beside it. So you know that's how original I am. But yeah, overall, I don't know what else there really is to add. It's the Eagles. It's fantastic. I wanted to annoy Cody by bringing in like some big Lebowski quotes. So, like, I fucking hate the Beatles. The Eagles, man, not the Beatles. I fucked it up. Whatever. It's a good album.
Movie trivia champion here, folks.
It's late, kind of.
All right, Lawrence.
I remember this album quite fondly. My dad used to DJ weddings, and it's been a while since I seen the artwork for it, the blue with the eagle on it, and it brought back memories to my dad and my uncle listening to that. And man, it's hard to dissect this album. It's hard to dissect any of their songs and to critique it. Like, it's all so pretty. It's also straight down the middle, but it also kind of like goes around and goes to places that you didn't know existed with the 5-part harmonies and stuff like that they were exploring with, and the different vocalists. Like, same with Blue Rodeo, experimenting with the different lead vocalists. I tried to listen to it like sequentially to see if there was anything that really stood out to me as like, this is an intentional thing other than just being released in order. I don't think necessarily it did anything in terms of like the story of that, other than what you kind of discovered, I guess, Andrew, with the growth in them and how they write songs and maybe see the world after 5 years. That's the other thing. All these songs were written in like a 4 or 5 year period. It's just insane. Yeah. So yeah, I think everything else has kind of been said on this one. It's the Eagles. It's great.
All right, I think this one's easy enough to wrap up. Cody, score, least favorite, favorite?
Yeah, so the album cover is the one thing I always remember from this. I remember seeing it on my mom's CD thing. I was like, I have got to listen to whatever the hell this is. Look how cool that is. It's like a skull. Why is that there? Turns out it had lasting staying power. I didn't pick it to be a douche, to just have an ultimate like trump card. I'm just being honest with you. I don't do music very well. I was told country. Believe me, if it was country, it would have had like I would have put some people through some. I may have just done the Garth Brooks double album live. I'll be honest with you. That was my thought process. But luckily, we just didn't have to get there.
I was going to do Eric Church.
I think I was going to go
heavens.
I was going to go Patty Page, I think.
Oh, well, guess what? We should do that show. Maybe if we can't find enough people, let's just bring 2 albums apiece. Have a blast. So look at that content idea. But yeah, I just picked it because like picking my favorite Eagles song is like picking between my children. I probably have a favorite. I just can't say it around them. But my number one is Desperado. I don't care. It's probably not everybody else's. It's mine. It's the one I remember singing to in the car with my parents. It's got that connection with me that's not. I refuse to pick a worse song because I don't believe there is one on this album. Again, I would love anybody to test me on that, but I just don't. I could listen to all these songs on repeat. If I just got the Eagles filmography, like discography for the rest of my life, that's the only band I could listen to, I could make it. I'll be honest with you, I could definitely make it. And score so hard, 2 thumbs up. I give it a 10, a fucking 10. Okay, so that's my score.
So
I know you can knock it down because you don't want to enter the Hall of Fame. I get all the viewpoints. I'm fine with that, but I'm just saying it's a 10.
We're going to go to Lawrence first on this one.
So my favorite song was Take It to the Limit. I love Randy Meisner, and I think, the impact that he's had with his songs didn't always get showcased, but I think this was one that was a standout, and obviously enough so it made him quit the band, or at least part of the reason. I think for me, I did knock this down a peg just because it was the Greatest Hits album. So I gave it an 8, and it is what it is. Least favorite song, just because I had to pick. I literally have a note that just says, "How do you pick a least favorite Eagles song on a Greatest Hits album?" Nonetheless, so, but I just chose The Best of My Love, just for the fact that. So just a little sleepy, but it's still a great song.
Okay. I'm going to go next. I'm giving it a 9.5. There is...
Better than your album by 0.1? Crazy.
Fair. What did I pick for favorite? Because that's hard. I thought that was harder than least favorite, to be completely honest with you. I picked Peaceful Easy Feeling. Originally, I was going to say One of These Nights, because One of These Nights is just like the most interesting one to me. But Peaceful Easy Feeling is just the one that just kept playing in my head after I had listened to the album. This is going to sound crazy because I know so many people love this one. I'm not crazy over this one, personally. My least favorite is Lion Eyes. I've never really loved that one. I don't know. Like, it's a little too long. It's a little too mellow. And, like, lyrically, I don't think that it's, like, quite focused. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Lion Eyes. Brooklyn.
Okay, so I am giving this an 8.9. It's Eagles. Like, I love them, but it's greatest hits. So like there isn't really an opportunity for misses there. So that's where I kind of dock this in that sense. I'm the exact opposite of Andrew. My favorite is Lion Eyes. Pretty much all of these songs I could half of these songs I can play. Lion Eyes is one of the first ones that I learned from them, and I really like the guitar intro in it. It's very satisfying. And then probably one of my favorite moments in the song is like the "My oh my, you sure know how to arrange things," and that like the harmony really sort of swells in that moment. My least favorite is Peaceful Easy Feeling. I know the song front to back. I could play it for you right now. But as soon as I start singing, I like the way your sparkling earrings lay against your skin so brown. I just kind of turn my brain off. And it's just like, I don't know. I kind of get bored singing it, and until the I get this feeling I may know you as a lover and a friend. That's where it kind of gets interesting, and then but otherwise also like it's fine.
If greatest hits is a knock on things, then why allow it on the show, Andrew Barr?
Hey, I gave it a high fucking score.
I just want that on the record.
An 8.9 is not a bad score.
No, but
I did not
your reasoning behind it wasn't because it's greatest hits. If it gets a knock because it's the greatest hits, you shouldn't allow it on the show.
I set you up. That's crazy.
Yeah, Barr set me up.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Bring me on the show again. You're going to hate your life.
These are some pretty great hits. I give it 8.5 out of 10. I'd say my favorite is probably One of These Nights. Least favorite, Tequila Sunrise, I guess. It's not bad again, but if I had to pick one.
That was another one that I considered.
Yeah.
All right. So, Brooklyn.
8.9 plus 8.5 divided by 5. Gets a score of 8.98, which puts that in. I mean, it's still a top. Oh God, it's a top 5 album. Right in between 24-Hour Revenge Therapy by Jawbreaker, but not quite as good as Bad Out of Hell.
Okay. Yeah, Cody's satisfied with that. As long as he gets
I'm fine. I just didn't know it was frowned upon. If it was frowned upon, I wouldn't have brought it.
It's not frowned upon.
You got top 5.
Brooklyn
I understand, but now I feel like I'm Barry Bonds in the 2000s. I took steroids to get there. I didn't know I was taking steroids. I was just putting what I wanted. That's right. All right. There's going to be a 7-hour album coming soon. I'm going to find one, and we're just going to do that.
Listen, there's only one rule that we have, and we learned this lesson the hard way. You do not submit Broadway recordings. We're not doing
full cast album recordings.
Yeah, we're not doing 2-hour.
You do that. Never mind. Yeah, I know who it was. You're good.
Yeah. All right.
Keyboard McKeeberson. Yeah.
The one place where you're allowed to have notes.
Ooh. All right.
Roundtable, you can also have that.
We're gonna go to you next. Tell us about the Archandroid.
Yes. This was an album that I had discovered while I was not discovered, like I've discovered this new artist hey, have you guys heard of Janelle Monae? But I was like listening to like older R&B and pop music, and I heard that Janelle Monae is like an artist that you should definitely get into if you're getting into that type of music. And I hit play on this album because I heard it's like her most essential work, and I instantly fell in love with it. I think like there are so many, the way that she blends like so many different genres on this album is like fantastic. There's like straight up pop music, there's neo soul, there's even like a song on here, Cold War, which has like the frenetic like energy of like a DNB song, like a drum and bass song, and that song is great too. Like I love her soaring vocals over it. I think it's fantastic. And yeah, I mean all of like the different like sci-fi storytelling on here is like really really cool as well. Just so many like great fun songs that she is able to weave in while having that overarching narrative, which I think is really really impressive. Like it doesn't get too heady to where it's like it doesn't make it hard to enjoy the songs individually. Like, you know what I mean? Whereas in some concept albums, it'd be like they all tie in together and you like need to play it like front to end. And this one, you could just go like take individual songs and play them individually and it still works just as well. And there's so many like great songs on here. And yeah, I just love Janelle Monae. I love her vocals. And yeah, what did everyone else think?
I can go first.
Okay.
Sure. So yeah, you said it perfectly, Dylan, where this is a nice blend of genre. The analogy that I was going to bring into it, this is a nice salad of genres. It's got like dance hall and swing, but like there's a weird sort of like base of like kind of rock. Rock, I feel like, is kind of like the backbone of a lot of this album, which I was not expecting going into this. But I like this album. I respect albums that take big swings, and this one does take a lot. I think previously, before going into this, because I listened to some Janelle Monae, but not a ton. I'm used to her very sort of like restrained delivery, and there's some stuff coming on the end that I think she really sort of like pushes through. And there's some stuff that does work and some stuff that doesn't work. But I really enjoyed that. I completely forgot that Tightrope was on this. This was probably the biggest single to come off of this. Big Boy has an incredible sort of thing. He does his thing where he just kind of like playing around with the rhythm, and he's really just kind of toying with it at a sense. I would say that Baba Baya, I'm not sure. That sounds Babu Baya.
What did you just say about my mother?
I don't know. Alliteration of bees. That's probably my favorite.
What are you trying to speak of right now?
I'm trying to say that song is my favorite closer of any of the songs that we're talking about today. I think that's just a nice sort of ascent from everything else. But you get some nice little like breaks, like Sweet 2 Overture is a nice sort of like kind of intro. I always appreciate intros that kind of ease you into the atmosphere that the album is album's trying to have. There's one little thing that I noticed that I want to bring up in my favorite song, but a couple other things. Cold War, I really liked the drum beat, and then like that Mighty will crumble line as well. I want to hear one person's particular opinion on it, because as soon as I heard Mushrooms and Roses, I was like, oh, Cody's either going to love this song or he's going to hate this. And I need to know so that I can settle bets.
All right, Cody, do you have any thoughts on that one?
I thought we saved the least favorite song for the end of
that answers that question.
Score.
Okay, that answers that question. But go ahead, you.
Yeah, so okay, here we go.
Here it comes.
So this is a 3-part album thing? Is that correct?
This is the second.
I think Electric Lady was the second one, and then Dirty Computer was the final one.
I thought.
Okay, so why are you a psychopath that gives me the second middle thing? If there was something
this is the first one.
No, Metropolis,
the first.
EP is the first one.
What?
Metropolis, the EP, is the first part.
Oh, I haven't gotten to that yet. I'm a fake fan.
Okay, so we're doing some trash picks. That's fine. No big deal. Overall, I don't know what to fully think. Like, there are parts that I like a lot, and there's parts that, if I wasn't on the show talking about songs, I would have skipped. So it's like a half and half album for me. I think her voice is incredible. I think the arrangement of the songs that she does, like there's no downpour. It's just not some of my favorite like type of songs. Like Brooklyn knows me to a T at this point with music. Like he just knows what I'm going to like and what I'm not going to like. I want something I'm going to be able to sing along to. I want something like a powerful vocal. Like I'm very basic. I'm very easy to figure out. This just didn't have that. I feel like people that like arrangements and like a lot of like skill like putting together music, this is like right up their alley. It's just I'm more simplistic on listening than ever. Like I picked the Eagles. Like I picked Fleetwood Mac. They don't have bells and whistles. They don't have a ton of things going on. So it's yeah. Like I need basic things for me. But overall, there were some songs on here that will enter like a playlist for me. Like I do enjoy them that much. There are some that will be the fastest skip if they ever come on again. But overall, like there are some really cool ones. And thank God Brooklyn attempted to say that last title track on this, because I was just going to avoid it the whole show because I was like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah, and then the fact that they did short songs all the way through, basically, and then hit us with 6 and 8 minute songs near the end, I was just like, listen, pick what you're doing. You don't get to just cram at the end because you didn't want to do like individual. Like it was like long, drawn out. That last song, I was like, is it over yet? Not that it was bad, but any song that's over like 4 minutes, I'm just like, what? You gotta hook me, or I'm in for pain for the next 8 minutes. But overall, I'm interested to see what. Maybe I'll check out those other 2 albums just to see what.
Metropolis is like half of the length of this one. So.
But she's also like a fantastic actress, so for her to be able to sing like this too is kind of just a cheat code that she has to have a deal with the devil or something. It doesn't make any sense.
But I will say I think you might like Dirty Computer more than this also.
Oh, agreed.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll check it
out. Lawrence, I'm going to go to you next because I've got some things.
Sure, no problem. Yeah, I think I appreciated kind of the different genres that I was hearing, and one that I was kind of listening to that hasn't been mentioned yet was in like the Sir Greendown and the O Maker. There was almost like a 60s psychedelia kind of feel to those 2 songs in particular. It kind of reminded me, there's like those old claymation movies, Santa Claus is Coming to Town, and there's like this really weird, trippy scene at a water fountain where Miss Jessica is like singing, and it reminded me a lot of that. And this is a claymation from the 60s, and it's right around the time of the Beatles and everything. So I think there was moments on the album where that was really strong and apparent, like in those songs. And then there's another moment that I'll talk about maybe later that didn't hit the same way for me. But yeah, overall, I mean, I love everything from Janelle Monae that I've heard. I would like to hear maybe a bit more of her vocals and the songwriting being more of the focus than necessarily the concept of the album as a whole. I feel like sometimes the concept can be the main event, when I think that her voice is the main event. And I like Brooklyn said, it's a big swing, and there's a lot of great things that it has kind of hit in its path, but that was just one thing for me. But yeah, the themes in this album I did think were great, even though it was a little bit long and a lot of those. But yeah, like the push and pull of like the human soul versus the artificial life, themes of like power, breaking free. I thought that she nailed them all pretty strongly, and yeah, it was a little hard to pick out what I didn't like, but there was a couple that did jump out to me, so I'll just leave it at that for now.
So Dylan, I've only listened to 2 songs from this album beforehand. And I don't think I've ever put more work into research for an album than I did for this one because of the lore.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. So this album's the lore of this album this trilogy is fucking crazy. Basically the first album, the EP is about an android who falls in love with a human and trying to run away from basically what's known as Blade Runners. And then this one,
very subtle nod there. I like it.
Yeah. And then for this one, she travels back in time to free like the people from like this race that are like trying to erase feelings and like enslave people and stuff like that. So crazy, but really, really good. I love most of this album. There are some points that I don't think necessarily work very well. Like I don't quite love the opening 3 songs, the medley at the beginning. But once we get to Sir Greendown, things click a lot better into place for me. I love that Neon Gumbo is basically the opening of Act 2. And it is a reverse of the last minute and a half of one of the songs on Metropolis called Many Moons. So basically that song is like either like a memory getting erased or replaced or something like that. And I thought just storytelling wise, that was really, really good. I love how many different like kind of genres that she's blending with all this, like as brought up, like swing, rock, R&B, funk, and then like the psychedelia of things like Wonderland. That one really took me by surprise with how much I loved that song, because it was kind of like this demented, like opening of a children's TV show. So I love what's that?
I was gonna say, or even like to go back to Mushrooms and Roses. To me, that sounded almost like it could have fit on Kid A, like the Radiohead album. Like,
yeah,
so, like it was really just like scattershot, like all sorts of different genres. It's wild how much it's able to do on this album.
Yeah, I forgot to mention this when I was talking about it. Wonderland reminds me a lot of Lily Allen.
Oh, I can see that.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot that I really, really respect, like the swings that she takes and the risks. I'm gonna say it though. Of the trilogy, this one's my least favorite. I like The Electric Lady more. I like Metropolis more. But that doesn't mean that I don't think that this is a great album. All right, so any last thoughts? Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, she does have a very good discography, so it's not that big of a...
I didn't love her last album, but I still really liked it.
Oh, yeah, it was fine.
Yeah.
It's my least favorite of hers.
Yeah, same here. Okay, so with that, we're going to go into scores, favorite and least favorite. Dylan, this is your pick, so start us off.
Yeah, so my favorite, it's really close between Dance or Die, which is just fun, and Neon Valley Street, which I think is like one of the more straightforward songs, but I think it's like just so like catchy and good. I'd say I'd probably go Neon Valley Street is the one I listen to the most. And yeah, I mean, I know I was just talking about Mushrooms and Roses and how I think it fits into Kid A. I also wouldn't come back to it and listen to it that much. That's probably my least favorite. I'd rather just listen to Kid A because Kid A is great. But yeah, overall, this is a solid 9 out of 10 for me. I love this album. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to go next. I'm giving it an 8.7. There's a lot of things that really work very well, but as I said, it's my least favorite of the trilogy. I'm actually the opposite of Dylan. My least favorite is Dance or Die. Like, I just could not get into that.
He's rapping on it and is doing a good job.
I know, and she got a lot better once Sturdy Computer came around as a rapper.
Oh, it's no Django Jane, I'll give you that. But.
Yeah. However, my favorite is Cold War. I've loved that song for absolute years now. That guitar solo is just absolutely incredible. I've been wanting to do it at karaoke. No karaoke place fucking has it, though. So, Brooklyn, you're next.
Sure. I'm in lockstep with Dylan, giving this a 9. Really like the concept. Even though that there are some songs that I don't like love, I appreciate. I appreciate the concept that she was going for. My favorite is Locked Inside, and it scratches an itch that I didn't think I needed. But the chorus of that song, oh, how I need you, baby, the melody of that is very similar to when you get a star in Super Mario Bros. So it was. I didn't know that I needed that, but as soon as I was like, "Oh, cool! This is why this is the song that I'm going to go back to because I think that's very cool," and it does make a really good beat. While I was giving Mushrooms and Roses a hard time for my least favorite song, I think there is a niche sort of setting for that. But my least favorite is unfortunately the song before it, "Come Alive, War of Roses." I like the concept of it, this harder rock swingy sort of deal, but that's the one that I don't like her voice. I think I would love to hear a version of that where her voice is kind of dialed down a little bit. It just sounds kind of scratchy.
Have you seen the version that she did at the Oscars?
I have not.
It's all right.
Okay. Cody.
Yeah, so I'm gonna just be nice, and I'm gonna set it a solid 7. I feel it's wrong because I gave Brooklyn's album like a 6 point, but I was just trying to be goofy. It would probably also be a 7, but can't reverse history at this point. Can't put the toothpaste back in the tube, you know what they say. But my favorite song, Cold War. It was easy slam dunk for that one. That one will definitely enter my playlist. And the worst song, Mushroom and Roses, has to be one of those. that thing should be studied and put in there. Of like, if you want me to hate a song, do that. But yeah, so she's creative as I'll get out. I'll tell you that. Like, even if stuff doesn't hit, she knows how to make some interesting music. That's for sure.
All right. And Lawrence.
Yeah, I gave this an 8.2. And my favorite song was Tightrope. I just think the mix is so big, but everything just works together so well. It's a great song. And I've heard it before. I was trying to think of where I heard it before, if it was like a commercial or a movie or something. But
I think
I had the same issue when I first heard this album. I was like, where have I heard this before? Because I know I have.
Yeah, do you know where it is? Like, I still couldn't place it.
I couldn't place it. It must have been a commercial or something, because that's what I immediately thought. But yeah.
I immediately thought commercial. Anyway, if it hasn't been, it would definitely work. And then my least favorite song, I thought I'd like it by the name, and it's been mentioned, Mushrooms and Roses. That was my least favorite as well. I just find like the trippiness that they might have been going for, it just wasn't really achieved. And like the vocal tremolo, it kind of sounds like the guitar in Crimson and Clover. It's a little.
I was literally going to say the song I think she was going for was Crimson and Clover.
Yeah, I think it felt like that, but it just like it fell really short of anything that it might have tried to be in my mind. But overall, I think that's really the only dud, and that's just a subjective thing. I think like you could probably find a place for that song and make an argument for it, but I didn't see it here for this one. But yeah, you got something, Brooklyn?
So I can't find commercials in particular, but I think that's where I first heard it when I put it in the Googler for where it appears in media. Happy Feet 2, The Upside, and then Glee as well.
Okay,
I guess it would have been Happy Feet 2 for me then.
It has to be Glee for Dylan. Dylan had to be
Big Glee fan.
Big Glee guy.
Yeah.
the
all right.
biggest.
So Brooklyn, where does that bring the Archandroid?
So that gives it an average score of 8.38, which puts it just outside of the top 15. Just a little bit better than Amos Lee's Mission Bell, but not as good as Bruno Mars's 24 Karat Magic.
Okay. All right, Cody's happy with that one. I can I can see the smirk. All right, so Lawrence, we're gonna close it off with your album. Tell us more about Metamodern sounds and country music.
Country music. Yeah. So this one, I've always been a country music fan, and I was getting a little tired of the genre, honestly. I was big, like my grandmother would always play George Jones, and then up to Alan Jackson. So anywhere from like 70s to 90s, we were kind of listening to.
Dude, I like this guy. I like this guy a lot. It's cool.
And it was one of those things where I couldn't listen to the radio anymore. I was kind of just like really falling out of step with it, and I didn't find my way back in until I heard Metamodern sounds and country music, like I said, about 10 years ago. And it kind of had everything that I loved about the straight up barroom country, but it also mixed some of the, I guess, more psychedelic elements. So you take something like a Waylon Jennings or a Keith Whitley sounding song, and then you'd kind of add in this strange, I don't know how to explain it other than I'd never heard it in country music really before. I thought it was more just like the Beatles and the folk or the rock of the older days of like the 60s and whatever. But this was the first time where I felt like it actually hit me and found me where I was at. And produced by Dave Cobb, who's done so many great records, Jason Isbell and Chris Stapleton, and he's got such a list of wicked albums. So I started getting into just everyone that was involved in making this, and his band. They've changed a little bit over the years. He still has a few of like the founding members, like Miles Miller, the drummer, who sings all the wicked harmonies and stuff too. So this was one that I felt like I'd like to bring to the table to show a little bit about stuff that I like and see what you had to say about it.
All right, I'm going to start.
I would like to go first.
Okay, go ahead, please.
I would like to go first. Okay. I about wrecked my car when I heard this album. I didn't know. I didn't look anything up. I didn't even look at the date. But I was like, where did this go? Where did it slip through the cracks? I have no understanding of this. I thought this was like a time capsule that someone discovered. I'm searching everything because I'm so confused because like the vocals on this is like from a time that doesn't exist anymore. And then I looked and saw 2014 and I literally almost, this is impossible. But this doesn't exist anymore. I fell in love with this album. It was so instant. It was literally like what you described is exactly, you're perfect to go before me because I'll dumb this entire thing down. But it's literally those old time voices and lyrics, but like moved into like a modern way that was like 180 degrees from where country was at 2014. Like it wasn't even like to say it lost its roots was like laughable. Like it was the joke of everything. It was
Florida
arena
Georgia
country.
Line, Chris Young.
Yeah, it was arena country what turned into it, and it was all these people singing about things that they have zero experience in, but they just know that it sells, and like it felt like country music just went, because I consider country music like the saddest genre that's ever like been around, just because it's like there's such like depressing lyrics attached to so many great songs, and I just love it. Like George Jones is one of my all-time favorites, and that man was the saddest human being that ever walked the earth. Like he just was in all his music. So to hear this stuff, I was just like, this makes zero sense, but I'm so happy that I found it. Like it was great. So
this is another one that I chalk up to Mark Grondin, fellow Canadian. for having introduced me to, also known as Spectrum Pulse.
I was about to say. Sounds familiar.
He put this album on his best of list of the year, as well as a couple of the songs. So I was like, I need to hear more of this guy. And goddamn, I adore this album. The moment you put it in our group chat as the one that you picked, I was like, let's fucking go. It's the first artist we've talked about a second time on this series.
I was there for that episode.
That was the crazy part. Dylan was there for the Sound and Fury episode. But like we talked about them a little bit briefly. The other like psychedelia-esque act that I kind of associate this with is Tommy James and the Shondells. Because it kind of sounds like Merle Haggard like mixed with them. As well as maybe like a little bit of Jefferson Airplane. And it works so beautifully. Like Turtles All the Way Down in particular is probably the best amalgamation of that, the opening track. And the lyrics on that song in particular, just like the opening of I've seen Jesus play with fire and play with in the lake of fire that I was standing in. And then going through like all of the other religions and all the other things that he's tried to find to like satisfy his spirit, and how like love is the only thing that could ever save my life, which is like peak lyricism. This has got a top 5 all-time cover song for me. I think that his version of The Promise is one of the greatest covers ever made. Because the original version, I think, is like good. It's fine, I guess. It kind of melds into the background. And then this version, he just rips it down, bare bones it, and just when the ending of that song hits, you just feel the rush of emotion as he's belting the lyrics in that one. It is astonishing of a cover. Yeah, no, this album is just... I'm also a huge fan of Dave Cobb. One of his biggest problems as a producer, though, is not always blending in the bass correctly, but this is one of those albums where that's not a problem. Like, all the instrumentation, like, really gives the shine. And yeah, no, this album's just absolutely incredible.
Dylan, do you want to go next?
Sure, yeah, I'll go next. So like I previously alluded to, this is the second Sturgill Simpson album that I listened to for this show, and this show is very successfully making me a big fan of him. I thought this was even better than Sound of Fury, which I thought was great. But even now, listening to this, I can understand people's criticisms with Sound and Fury even more in that episode, where people were saying like the vocals were like not mixed very well. Because in this, it's like his vocals are at the forefront and they're just incredible. Like that's the big thing that stuck out to me, is like this guy's voice is just absolutely on another level. Barr brought up the lyrics to Turtles All the Way Down. One of my favorite lyrics on the album, like which just shows like the like level of imagery that he's able to like just create in this album, is when he says, "There's a gateway in our minds that leads somewhere out there far beyond this plane, where reptile aliens made of light cut you open and pull out all your pain." It's like just like really intricate and like well done lyrics.
Crazy, but
yeah. But like it's like just very wordy stuff like that, which I find like very well done. And like his not to just reiterate Barr's talking points, but his vocal performance on The Promise is like when that like hook kicks in and he gets like louder. I don't know. I'm bad at describing things, but it's like incredible. Like just I thought this album was like really really good, and like yeah, it's only 34 minutes, so like it like breezed by for me as well. So like yeah, this was a great album.
It hits that sweet spot that I'm always talking about of an album being somewhere between like 35 to 55 minutes.
Yeah.
Andrew, was you? I think it was you that showed me this cover of The Promise, but how did it come about?
We were doing a jukebox top 20 covers songs or something like that.
Yeah, because when this album got submitted, that was the first thing I noticed. Like, oh, this is where that cover comes from. I'll touch on that immediately. It's incredible. Particularly the arrangement in the chorus. There's one minor chord that he throws in, like, if you wait around, I'll make you fall for me. I promise you I will. And it's like it's crazy because, yeah, like, if you, like, we were kind of talking about it earlier, but like that original song is just like 80s new wave. So it's really just kind of like takes you out of left field. This album in particular, though, this is probably my favorite in terms of lyricism and the kind of storytelling. When you guys are talking about Turtles all the way down, and about like how like he's trying to find love. And in my notes for Turtles all the way down, I have this song is saying life is short, do drugs, but only the good ones. There's ones where he sounds like marijuana, DMT, or whatever, and it's like, all right, I didn't expect a country album to kind of go that hard into that sort of lyricism. But yeah, Voices is another really good one. It's kind of like exploring like this uncharted territory. I really like the line, well, a picture's worth 1,000 words, but a word ain't worth a dime. I think it kind of fits Sturgill's overall vocal qualities. Let It Go is we all, like, on the show, we've always talked about country being 3/4 of the truth. Let It Go is probably like the most honest and straightforward out of any of the tracks that we're talking about today.
Yeah, quick correction, Just Let Go.
Sorry, Just Let Go. I haven't shown my son Frozen yet, but for some reason I had Frozen on mine. And then It Ain't All Flowers. I think, having listened to Sound and Fury first, I thought that was like, I feel like he kind of took ideas from that and kind of turned that into Sound and Fury, because he's definitely like teasing that idea in this song. And again, I thought that was another really good closer. There's other stuff that I want to get to with my favorites, but yeah, no, really good selection. Glad of this that he got brought up again. I guess the one gripe that I have, not necessarily with this album, but with Sturgill in particular, finish the pronunciation of words. I find that he like starts really strong on a word and then he'll just kind of dive right off. In particular in The Promise, where it's like, I'm sorry, but you don't really hear like the why part of this.
I'm sorry, do we judge you for saying things like a boot? No, but I have. So don't judge him for his Kentucky.
Oh, I did not realize that was a Kentuckyism.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't disrespect the American language of Kentucky. Like
I will say, having worked in the tourism industry, Virginian accent is probably my favorite American accent. Just love the draw of it.
Okay.
Yikes. That's your favorite brother.
Man, you could have gone, I don't know, you could have gone to New York.
Does they talk closer to what people in Canada sound like? Is that what you like?
All right, but let's wrap this one up. Lawrence, your score, your favorite and your least favorite for this album.
Yeah, so I think to what Brooklyn said just at the end there with the pronunciation of the words, it's something that he's definitely aware of because he's been called out for it before. And he's got a line in one of his songs on another album, and it goes, "That label man said, son, now can you sing a little bit more clear?" And he kind of calls, he's aware of his own tendencies. For me, I gave the record a 9.3, and my favorite song was Just Let Go. For me, it was between that and Turtles All the Way Down. But for me, Just Let Go, it just immediately, like, my shoulders just drop when I listen to that. It's just very peaceful, yet very powerful in the simplicity, like the 3 chords and the truth, as you said. And least favorite song was so hard for me to pick because, I mean, this album for me is start to finish. I just love it so much. So I just had to pick something that kind of stood out. And It Ain't All Flowers kind of has a bit of a darker energy to it that, like you said, it does kind of bleed into the The Sound of Fury, perhaps. I think it serves the album super well, but like if I had to pick a song just for the sake of picking one, I feel like I just have to go with that one.
Okay, Brooklyn.
Okay, I am giving this an 8. Enjoyed it. Like I was saying, the storytelling in it is really good. My favorite is going to be Living the Dream. I like some of the production choices in it. I like the open hi-hat, just kind of gives a nice little buzz to it. The slide guitar in it is good, not overused, like in some Blue Rodeo songs we talked about earlier. Love the electric organ. I think it's probably the most powerful of any times that it's been used in the songs talked about on the show. And then probably my favorite opening lyrics in the chorus. And that being, oh God, where are you? Ain't no point getting out of bed if you ain't living the dream. It's like making a big old pot of coffee when you ain't got no cream. I'm a sucker for food analogies. So that I like that relatability to it. My least favorite is, I don't know. I wouldn't say there are any like bad songs, but just ones that I thought were just kind of fine. I'll say Long White Line. I couldn't even tell you how it goes right now. And like when I was looking at the lyrics, I had probably the toughest time trying to figure out like what it was about.
Cocaine. It's
yes,
about cocaine.
probably. But yeah, I thought
it was the like, white line on the road. You know?
That's what I also thought too. And I was like, well, maybe it is about cocaine, but maybe we'll.
It's hard to get down that white line when you're doing coke. That's what the thing is.
Listen, we had an opportunity here. If we had an Eagles album that had Life in the Fast Lane, we could have had 2 songs that were about cocaine.
And roads.
Life in the Fast Lane's about cocaine?
It's about cocaine.
What? Weird. All right, Cody.
I mean, he brought it on. He gave it a 9.3. I'm going to match him. I'm going to give it a 9.3 as well. Favorite song, the album, just every bit of it. But I really enjoyed Voices. I don't know about everybody else. I just really enjoyed Voices. It was literally like turning the dial back to old time music, which I really enjoy. I'm going to give least favorite song to A Little Light. Not because it's not a bad song. It was 1 minute and 40 seconds. It could have been longer, so that's the only reason it's a bad song. I picked the shortest on the album because I could have stayed with this album for way too long. So great. Thank you for bringing it on. I did not hear about this artist beforehand. I thought this artist was like snuck through, like was lost in the 50s or 60s. I was like, who is this guy? Why does no one speak of him? Oh, because he came in 2014. So. Or earlier, but you know what I mean.
Cody, I highly recommend you listen to the album he released after this, A Sailor's Guide to Earth. It's basically that kind of country sound, but this time mixed with like almost like Wilson Pickett and like a lot of the Muscle Shoals scene.
You're saying a bunch of cuss words to me right now. I have no idea, but I'll look at the thing.
I even have no idea what he's talking about.
God damn it.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Dylan.
Yeah, this is another album that is like very hard to pick a least favorite track on here, which might I add, this is probably the best like group of albums that I've listened to for
I would agree.
One episode. Like is just like like my least favorite was like still a 7 out of 10 album, which is still really good. So like this is an 8.5 out for me. I thought it was great. My favorite track would probably be I'd probably say The Promise. I thought that one like was very, very impressive, just the vocal performance there. Least favorite, I would say It Ain't All Flowers, just because it disappointed me, because for the first for 2/3 of it, I was in. I thought it was awesome. I loved the darker sound to it. And then it has like a 2-minute long outro, and I was like, God, you fumbled it. Because I was like, for that, I was just kind of like, all right, wrap it up. Oh, it's good. And then I look at my phone and there's like 1.5 minutes left. I'm like, what are we doing here? But so that kind of brought it down for me. So if I had to pick a least favorite, I guess it'd probably be that one. But for most of the song, I still think it's great.
This is a 10 out of 10 album for me. I fucking love everything about this album. I always have. It's funny that some of y'all picked Inanimate Flowers as your least favorite because it is one of my favorite songs of all time.
Oh, sorry.
Whatever. It's one where I totally.
He's normally wrong, so you're probably right
Yeah.
for it.
I'm usually between two, and pick the wrong one. However, I do understand why others would not like that, but it's one of my favorite songs of all time. As a 10 out of 10 album, I am picking an obligatory least favorite. I'm gonna just say "Just Let Go," but there's nothing about this album that I don't think is absolutely fantastic. So
I
Brooklyn,
hope so. You gave it a 10.
Yeah. Brooklyn, what's this bring it to?
This beats out their greatest hits by 0.04, average score of 9.02. So it is currently sitting in the top 5. That top 3 is pretty hard to crack because Metamodern Sounds is a 9.02, and then Bound Out of Hell is over a 9.5. So I would say, because I think we only have one more episode after this. So for this season, I would say you're pretty safely in the top 5. But yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
So with that being said, we're going to jump into the last segment of our show. And that is basically pick an album that somebody else brought as your favorite album. Mine is obvious, Metamodern Sounds and Country Music. I want to pick other ones because I hadn't heard them before, but that would not be fair to me, in my opinion. Let's go to Lawrence next.
I'd say my favorite would be the Blue Rodeo. Just like I said, the nostalgia factor for me, and a lot of those singles that I remember listening to around the house and driving in the car. And to me, it's kind of held up that torch of Canadian music quite well over the years, and the fact that Blue Rodeo still gets out on the road and does these songs. And I've gotten to play with Jim's son Devin a few times now too.
Cool.
And got to I don't know, a little biased with maybe the connection to it, but it's I really enjoyed the album. It was, like I said, my first time listening to it in full, and go with that.
All right, Brooklyn.
So unfortunately, an album is not getting into the Hall of Fame today. My choice is I'm picking your album, Algorithm from Lucky Daye. Loved the hell out of it. I'm going to be listening to it again. I just think it's very uplifting, and yeah.
Okay.
What do you mean get into the Hall of? What does this mean?
So the Hall of Fame is basically when everybody picks the same album except for the person who brought it.
So there have been 2. There's been 5 overall, 2 this season. 4 overall.
4 overall.
2 this season. The first one being Post from Bjork, and then the other one, which I'm still shocked that it even happened, was Sports from Huey Lewis and the News.
And the other 2 albums being Beloved Paradise Jazz by McKinley Dixon and Just Listen by Musiq Soulchild.
Nice.
So, Cody, what's your favorite album that was brought?
Well, obviously, the album that almost made me wreck my car. Lawrence's album's phenomenal. It's just, I didn't know, and then I just looked it up. He has so many more albums, so like, I'm going to be busy for a little bit, so that's great, though. It's so interesting. It's funny the country is like switching back to like 90s and early country. Like there are artists coming back to like, regardless if it's nostalgia trying to get hits, like I don't blame them, but like there are some artists now doing that, and it's just like, it's like a return to form. Like it doesn't have to be bells and whistles. It can just be you and a guitar. So I'm really excited to hear more. I hope more country singers just go back to that. I'm not saying back in my day it was better, but it was 100% better. It was better in my dad's day. It was better in my grandpa's day. So if country music could just return to that, that'd be great.
All right, Dylan, close us out.
Yeah, I'm going to bring it up to a tie because I'm also going to pick Algorithm by Lucky Daye. Damn it, Barr, please start picking more albums that I dislike because I feel bad picking your album each time. But yeah, it's the album that, like, of the albums that we have here, it's the one that I immediately want to buy on vinyl. I'll be looking for this vinyl.
Me too.
Yes, it's 100%. It's just, this is my type of music, like what I love listening to the most. Like I love R&B, funk, and like just all the different genres that he blends on here. I think it's fantastic, and yeah, can't wait to listen to more of him. But yeah.
All right, so that's going to wrap it up for this episode, guys. Thank you so much. This is easily one of the best like groupings of albums for an episode I think we've ever
You're
had.
welcome.
Thank you, Andrew.
Yeah. Real fast before we throw it to Brooklyn. Once again, Lawrence's music, his like Spotify, will be in the description of the bio for this episode.
So this comes out the start of December, I believe.
Yes.
Lawrence, do you have anything going on through the winter that you want locals, I guess, in particular, to know about?
I'll be doing a couple shows around the island called Deck the Halls, some Christmas shows over December. And then aside from that, taking it pretty easy until the new year, but there'll be some new things. But yeah, I got socials. People can just check out that, and I'll be posting some stuff in the new year coming up soon.
And then, the next, the season finale.
Yes, thank you for reminding me. We have our panel. So returning to the show is going to be Hank. We had him in, I think, episode 2, and we haven't had him back since then. We also have Jake Marangoni and Bill Carriola, which having the two of them on an episode together, that's going to be dynamite. So your albums for this episode are Head Down by Rival Sons, Repeater plus 3 songs by Fugazi, Ames by Vienna Tang, Better Late Than Never by The Slackers, and Play by Moby. So that's going to be a very, very unique episode. So please join us for that one. And thank you to Lawrence. Thank you to Cody. Thank you to Dylan for being on the show. Thank you for Brooklyn for always being by my side on these episodes. Can't do this without you, buddy. And for all of us here, keep on rocking.
Drive safely.
Drive unsafe. Bye.
Skirt!